know, because, I have some hay ground underneath one, and if you pick the right day, you go to open the gate, you bend down, put that knee on the ground, the car will jingle you.
Yep. I think, yes, I think that the noise is showing up based on this guy's presentation. The noise is showing up in the noise on that. And he said every time ever he puts a ground wire off a pole to the ground. And if they're not filtering the noise, off of the lines as they're being transmitted, it's gonna be in the ground.
Okay. Thank you.
I would, before you releasing, I would recommend, and I don't know if you remember it or not, back in the 70s when the movie Ohms came out. Watch that. It was a little mini. It's just the same thing we're talking about. Right. And and we've lived with high voltage transmission lines for Lord knows how long. And this is just something that, in my opinion, is you try to do what you can as far as on the filter side, you try to do what you can as far as on the grounding side, as far as that, and it just, you do what you can do. You can't cut everything out, you know what I mean? Right. So, and you know as well as I do, where it doesn't leave, so, yeah. Educated choices. Yeah, there you go. So, anyway, I appreciate your information, and I'll look at it, see what I find. All right, thank you.
You are, did you have a question, ma'am?
Yes. For you.
Okay, for me?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Have you helped Jason Potts with any case?
Yes.
Okay, I got the same problem.
Okay.
And they know a letter that they're gonna charge me $400 more
Okay.
because I don't have hinges on my gate, on my,
On your rental property? Okay.
I built brand new fence, just like the one, but now they say I have to have hinges on it.
What kind of gate do you have up?
What do you have? Just a wire gate?
It's a gate,
But it
but
doesn't,
we just wired it on.
you just wire it?
Yeah, and then so when you want to go in and mow, you just unwire it, move
Yeah,
it, do it.
yeah.
Okay.
Any K wants me to put hinges on this gate.
Let us make a phone call. We can work this out because there are a lot of, is this an existing lagoon?
I had it built about 2 years ago, and the gentleman that did run NK approved it and everything. But the lady taking over now says that it's not approved, and it's past the 2 years, whatever, and she's gonna charge me $400 to send it to court to have hinges put on the gate. It's just a pasture, is where it is.
I did, yeah. And Jason had a similar
Yeah,
situation.
Jason has someone, that's why I was wanting to talk to
You're
you.
Bruce's mom?
Yes, Debbie Brickle.
Yeah,
I live on 102 Road.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do me a favor, write down the location, I'll give you a pin, just you can use the desk there, write down the location, name, and your contact.
Is the
I'll get
gentleman-
twisted, sorry, that's the light at the end of it.
Oh, twist it.
Yeah, twisted.
Okay, fancy then.
Did the gentleman who, and I know the gentleman that you're talking about who approved it 2 years ago, did he
Yeah.
give you any paperwork?
No, he said it was approved. Jack Gerhart done it and everything.
Yeah.
And he signed everything, but this lady is
Typically, they
on
don't,
my case
they don't.
constantly.
I thought they had to have a certificate that said it was,
he
He
would,
never sent me one.
okay, okay.
we,
Unless you're
had-
dealing with.
You had a letter too with you?
No, I didn't bring it.
Okay, okay.
yeah, usually that verbal, yeah, we would sign copy.
Yeah.
Overrated.
I've tried to work her, but she was. And this last one, she says, I'm pretty sure it's not fixed, but I didn't go through the sheets. Yeah, she's, oh.
I'll give you a call.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
How are you today? Thanks for being flexible.
think that's too big of an increase right off the bat, the $10 increase, $5 increase?
Considering we haven't raised them in,
Years?
I wanna say over 10 years now.
Okay.
How do they?
So basically, you buy a park pass for, at a state park,
Mhm.
like when you go to do,
And that's what I wanted to know, how you're comparing the park prices.
you're paying a couple $100
Okay,
opposed to our $45 extra bars.
okay, and that, like I say, that's what the information I wanna know is.
Yeah, so you're,
Cause I'm
so-
not bought pass for those, I don't know.
right, so in the grand scheme of things, if you come and camp with us, at $45 for your, you know, cause that knocks your camping from $20 down to $17. Because our $20 a night camping limit, or, limit, but includes your vehicle that you're pulling the camper with and the camper.
Okay.
So you buy that $45 pass, that takes away that vehicle fee for your camper.
Okay.
And so then you're down to 7 night, and it takes right about, 2 weeks, and then from then on, you're money ahead.
So like, you go down to Perry or you go over to Tuttle Creek, that's.
Yeah, if you buy an annual pass, and I haven't bought one, but I was talking to Susan, and it's a couple $100 to do it for the year.
For the year,
For the year to do
yeah.
it.
Okay. Oh, okay, then,
For the-
that
for the
answers my
vehicle.
question, if we're still that far below them, then I don't have a
So
problem.
I ran it both ways. There's two options that I did. My one was, doing away with the annual pass code and just making it a flat $20.
Mhm.
And then you would still go past if you wanted to come in and like walk the trails or go use the, any facilities, and then that would pay for, your fee to get in, for the whole entire year.
Right.
For that. And then, and I ran that with this new system that I have the ability to do that another way. And this way, brought in relatively the same amount of money as doing that. And instead of just the people that are camping paying that, increase, now everyone's, sharing it equally,
Okay.
on guys that are using the lake.
Sure.
And
And there again, like I said, if the explanation right now is perfect, that's what I needed to understand. If we're that much lower in the state parks, then yeah.
so,
I'm
I mean,
perfect.
even our next closest, and you're comparing apples and oranges, because but like Shawnee Lake,
Mhm.
the county run lake, we're at, essentially, we're at $17 if you buy a pass. They're at $22 a night.
Okay.
And that's what their rate is.
Right.
So, I mean, at some point, it's imminent that we're gonna have to go up in our camping price. But I've been trying to prolong that as long as we can to get by the.
You can't lose money.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And expenses have gone up tremendously,
Oh, yeah.
with the amount of fuel and, yeah. Right. So.
So no,
just
just,
lower.
that's perfect, that's what I need to
And
understand.
I think then it'd be a general consensus of this board that we approve both.
Yeah.
Both the increase or the rental rates for the facility, I think it's a good place to start, and then your increase for rental.
And then I would like to, we could, send you an email or something, but get a, maybe ribbon cutting or something that, Ally can get a pic of, and I can get a hold, we have a meeting tonight, tomorrow night with Friends of Banner Creek.
You get a comparisons or talking about?
Yeah, real big. And, I think it'd be nice to do a thing like that, and that way we can have the rates then, in the paper, so everyone kind of knows that, and then starting first part is taking reservations, official reservations for the upcoming year.
Perfect. Just let us know if you want to do that.
Yeah, probably do it on like a Monday or something when you get to here. As far as, grant paperwork is officially tied up.
Good.
We're done. Done with that. The only, loose end is this thing, HVAC system. Looking into it, I hired a tax professional to help us with the paperwork on that, because it is not near as easy as they told us it would be. They basically just gave me a pamphlet and said, this is what you have to do. But then I started going into a rabbit hole of reading about it. And I think it's gonna take someone that, truly understands the tax code and how we fill this paperwork out correctly.
And we did talk to the auditor, I have emailed him the mountains of advice also.
Okay.
That was my question, was get somebody who does taxes. And always find somebody who wants to donate that.
I think you got a neighbor out there that does taxes, so.
Well, I actually texted him not 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I walk across the street.
Yeah?
So that's really our, it has to be inspected, a final inspection to get our last reimbursement, which is,
Okay.
but everything else should be coming, so we can put that back in. Honestly, I think we're pretty, I'm just kind of doing some finishing touches on the parking lot.
I think Scott was good about this week, he
Yeah.
sent somebody out.
Yeah, then they got that massive pile of dirt, hauled off for me, out on the west end of the lake that's been there for 4 or 5 years, that now I can work on that, and I'd like to make that into a, parking lot for the people that ride horses out there, so they don't park in the lake, and then we kind of get lost as they're going over there, and then the horses on the walking trail. But, no, I think that'll be area to, we can get that clearly labeled, and then it's plenty big enough for people to make a loop through and get some loads of gravel. They're currently working on my, gravel roads out there too. Get some, they need a bit of work, they were telling me, to get them up to where they need to be, to where we can get ground on the road. That should, other than that, just trying to finish out this, final kind of, agreement on the, for the, when you sign to say you want to rent the building.
Yeah.
Right.
All that stuff needs to be in there. That's,
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you coming in, like I say, that answered my questions, and I'm,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
No, I-
explanation.
Thanks for.
Yes.
yeah.
Scotty?
You got time for a couple questions?
Yep.
The shed review on the funds, you guys had mentioned that maybe you wanted to transfer outlay money into cover landfill and recycle. I didn't know if you were still wanting me to do that. I'm trying to get to your end, so I can get everything out.
You wanna come up and show these guys what you're talking about? So,
And HH is gonna have to cover because they don't have enough funds. Landfill is in the paying some rate, so this is what I need, this balance right now. Still rich for that amount, but it's not
they go with them. This-
On
this-
what?
But some of this, so we asked him, remember? It was, there was, some people get back from the other counties.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So
Well,
right
so
now-
that would be,
Recycling, not landfill, this is recycling.
yeah,
This will get back because we, collect from.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I what you're saying.
Oh, I'm not trying to remember if that's household hazardous waste, they said we could back after. Household hazardous waste rather than recycling.
Why is this, why is it big?
Yeah, because you got Donovan and Franklin.
Yeah. Okay.
They usually, they usually make most of it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, I thought for like the pad and building and all that good stuff, but we already called that, it was already, we had enough money in there to do that.
Oh,
Okay, their budget amount is 89,605 for supplements. They spent 108.
But some of that money was supposed to come back for that project and just be transferred out of the capital outlay to cover that project.
On the landfill.
The building,
I have that encumbered. I have that second report to you. That's part of it. I just didn't know if you wanted to use county general fund to cover these and money, put these out there for next year, or if you want me to move money in.
I would move it, I would move it.
Is it in the cover?
That's, yeah, that's his
Yeah.
start budgeting.
Those go on for years, and we did get one for 10 grand here 2 or 3 months ago. Okay.
That's what's really,
Yeah.
really does.
What about the, county attorney's office? We have-
I think you said one.
Okay.
Yeah, just about 15,000.
Okay.
Like the miracle.
Good.
Where,
I did not amend the budget because from everything that people told me they would spend by the end of the year, we should still be sitting okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna go back to a zero balance at the end of the year that way.
and we're thinking, planning on getting this money, we're just gonna have to cover it? We're just gonna have to take it someplace?
I don't know that she has it in her to yet. I don't know if there's anything with that.
Hey,
I don't know if there's anything the judges have that can.
What about, yeah, there's,
what was the?
what's it called? It's a form of restitution that we do see some, is that what's calculated?
That's already calculated.
That's already calculated. How recovery, can we lose some recovery monies that go, that goes directly to sheriff? Is that by law? Recoveries,
Drug money?
yeah,
No, that stays with the
that
sheriff.
stays, is it by law has to do that? Thought so.
But yeah, just transfer it out of there,
Okay. That's
for
all.
capital
Trying
outlays,
to get ahead of me.
just have less for next year, capital outlay.
Right.
And
I have a question on Linda Trask.
you're gonna ask about vacation and sick
I am
leave.
2 weeks, was she allotted? Did she get, did she give 2 weeks notice from the,
She did not,
okay, so we're not paying that vacation.
that is whatever our policy is.
Just wanted to double check. All right, thank you.
Linda did not give notice
Okay. I can't hear.
to resign, before she resigned.
Okay,
So therefore, if you don't give notice,
yeah, gotcha.
Well, I'm looking over, I haven't found anything on there as far as gates in our policy, in our environmental policy. But I
I
did
don't think
find.
you will.
No, probably not. That's what I'm double checking. What I did find is issuance of a permit. Now, these have been in place since August 3rd of 2003, okay? And 1-3.7, issuance of permit. After there's a permit application required by this code, which would be for a new lagoon, right? The administrative agency or designee shall begin such investigations and inspections as necessary to determine whether the permit application should be approved or denied, and shall approve or deny the permit application within 30 days. If the permit application is denied, the administrative agency shall send the applicant a written notice of the reasons of rejection. So if they did this 2 years ago and they didn't, there is nothing in their files that they denied the permit, then, I'm not really interested in pursuing
Do you
Marcus'
Do
claim.
you wanna call Martha?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through this a little bit more,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, it spells out right there, so if it's out in their files that they denied it,
Right.
then it's approved.
And-
Isn't that what you would think?
Correct.
Okay.
And what's, I know of another situation where I know the gate is on, loose wired up.
Yeah.
And so whenever the guy went in there to mow, he would unwire 4 times, set the gate aside, and push his mower.
Yeah.
It just got inspected and it passed.
So that's what I'm not happy with that.
And I don't know where she gets, to my knowledge, she has no authority to charge anybody anything. Other than if it's an inspection, but she doesn't have the authority to fine
No,
or to take someone to court.
I don't believe so.
I know she doesn't. Because that other situation, was the same situation where it was just being so nitpicky, it made no sense. fire district two, is that up in your area, Mark? Fire district.
I'm not sure.
Julie,
It's Soldier,
Lorette, or Barbara?
it's Soldier area.
It's Soldier.
Is
So
right.
yes, it is my area.
Okay. I'll let you list these four members that they just approved at their board level and entertain a motion if you guys want to approve them.
Gary Schreiber.
Yeah.
So these are all new,
I don't believe so, I think they
Reappointed.
reappointed all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
so I will make a motion to accept
Yeah,
the nominations of Dave Reed.
appointments.
Dave Reed, Leon Friel, Gary Schreiber, and Mark Stillman to the Jackson County Fire District Number 2.
Second. Moved and seen further discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay, all lagoons must be fenced according to the environmental health codes of Jackson County before the final use permit is. I don't see anything in there that says anything about the gates. As long as the,
As long as it's secure.
Yeah.
so. Martha, you have that, things in there.
I'll make yes.
Yeah, it's actually, if you want to, I'll have Terry's copy in the copier. So you just want to write it?
Yeah. I'm gonna watch that. Sounded interesting. I never heard of it. Yeah.
Nor I.
Really?
No. I thought you were gonna say open there for a minute, and I thought, whoa,
No.
that is a scary movie.
I'm sure that it's called OHMS. I'm just, because I remember watching as a kid.
OOHMS?
No, OHMS.
OHMS.
1980.
Well, no wonder I'm the 70s.
Yeah, well. 1980.
Yeah. Well, they also had a film in the 1930s.
Perfect, thank
You
you.
want to read your minutes?
No, I don't have.
Sorry, you're probably all in that one.
Aha, thank you.
Here,
Thanks,
thank
sir.
you. Yeah.
Mark?
A bunch of these tax.
Yes, yeah. I'm here.
Linda, I saw Chad at the, KC. I didn't ask him, I was meant to, and I forgot to ask him, got to talk about other stuff. Did he get elected soldier?
He did.
Why do you say it like that?
He likes that stuff. Yes, he did.
Yeah,
He actually made him in the primary and stuff.
yeah. Oh, okay, so he had, he made it. He didn't have
Somebody
to-
against him in the primary, and so he made it too. So.
Yeah, very good. He'll be good on there. They just built a huge new building, over there off of, 62nd. No, 82nd, it goes,
No, they're talking about building
no, 62nd.
a new fire station or something.
Yeah, that's over on Topeka Boulevard, just to the north of that, quick shop. Over there that's across the car wash.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
And he's on Shawnee County's planning board too, so he's like,
He must not have any kids.
he does. He's a patient wife.
Sounds like it.
move we approve the minutes of December 2nd, 2024.
December second.
Yes. Second.
Good move. Second. We approved it for December second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
I'm not ready for Christmas. I know. A lot of that.
Yeah.
Do you care if I open discussion on something while you're signing those?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I just was gonna, so,
I can multitask.
countywide sales tax, talked about, asked Todd to read the statute. Would it be you guys' thought then we'll go ahead and advise Carrie that we're gonna move ahead to have Texas sponsor a 1/4% sales tax designated solely for the whole hospital? And then let the community, there'll be a special, or the election this fall, or not election, but a vote on it this fall, to let the community decide if they wanna support the sales tax for the hospital. Would that be?
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, because I'm not going, you know, my feelings known
No, I-
as far as for us, yeah.
I agree.
I just need to let them have it, run, try to fight and do anything with us, so.
And Linda, I know you're here in a few weeks, and so this process will play out. Basically, when the legislature opens back up, then Francis will have their attorneys move this forward. They'll sponsor it, and then it'll come election. Do you have thoughts on it? Whether the, no?
So, at this point, I'm here just to,
That's fine, I just,
because of papers, I can't really interact for 60 days.
Okay,
See what I'm saying? So till the 1st of January, I'm just kind of here as a.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that, I just thought I'd include you in the
And
conversation.
I appreciate that, I do, but I'm.
just to let you know, we learned at the conference, convention last week, that one of the things that KAC and Kansas League of Municipalities is going after hard this year with the legislature is to get them to drop that, having to go to put in
Yeah.
sales tax.
So basically, it would just go to a vote of the public, your
That
county.
makes sense.
It saves them time. Yeah,
Unless government control over counties.
good point, I'll email Carrie and let her know that we're
Yeah.
gonna pursue that.
Do you think though that for the hospital entity itself should be,
They can.
They cannot?
They cannot tax the citizens because they're not a government.
well, that's what I was referring to, was to them go to the representatives in the area. It all has to go through us first,
So,
to do it, and then we approach.
We have designated in the paperwork
Yeah.
so say for instance, we're gonna start up an ambulance
Tell them the
service.
reason for that. So it doesn't go to, so it doesn't get split up and 60% goes to Holton,
I
and
got
some goes to Hoyt,
Yeah,
some
sure.
goes to.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because typically in the
Yeah.
sales tax,
Right.
each of your incorporated cities get a small portion of that.
And probably your fire districts and your cemetery districts and all that.
No.
School districts, no.
I believe so.
It's a percentage based on, from the way that Aaron was explaining, Aaron Mays, Johnny County
Oh, yeah.
Commissioners explaining what happens with them is that the city of Topeka, due to their population, gets 60% of the sales tax. So I don't know if it has to do with and it's a formula that's set up. The state set up years ago for that. And so I don't know if that 60% is for the biggest city in the county, the taxing entity, and then goes from their population and
It
kind of
goes-
scale down from there.
It goes on the population.
So but I mean, is the 60%, is that set in statute?
No, I don't think so. I think he just knows that's the percentage that they get.
Okay, that's percentage of people, gets. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, by all means, as far as I'm concerned. When I spent 11 years on the hospital board, I see what happens. Sees what is happening.
When you ask about the kneecap board though, did you ever think about Angie Reed, the
Oh, that's a good thought.
health department? I don't know what she does now.
Works for church sector. She's in charge of the, CCD church.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but I don't know if she does anything out, if she
I
has.
don't believe so.
She's a teacher at Jackson.
Angie is? When she started that?
This year.
I didn't know that. But she's a serve on board.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just.
that's a good thought.
She'd probably be a good person.
Good suggestion. Do you know her, Clark?
Angie? Yeah, I can reach out to her.
Thank you.
And that's for the kneecap board, right?
Yes, that's correct. It just has to be somebody from the public.
Is that something that could be posted in the paper, as a position you'd like to fill as a You know, instead of just seeking out people, oh, I might know somebody.
Yes, to answer your question, yes, we would, but typically, we've done that, and it costs us $35, $40 to put it in the whole recorder, and we get no response, crickets. I mean, we can't even get people to show up here for, a budget meeting that, we're here for 4 hours, to allow folks like yourself to sit down in front of every department head and elected official and talk about budget, when it was still in the stages where we could change things and move things around. Now people, we gotta show up. And we advertised a lot of that.
So maybe you could slide it in there, we have a reporter, or we just go ahead, I don't know if there's, you can have an official discussion about it, and she could,
On what? On
the job posting or whatever there'll be.
yeah, this is a job, this is just an
Well-
appointment. We'll put it on our website, but I feel comfortable spending taxpayer dollars in the whole recorder to get nobody to even respond to it.
Right.
We'll put it on our website, we can put it on the website, if you don't mind having Aaron do that, on the Facebook and on the website, that would be great. But yeah,
Maybe just a comment, ask the paper to put a footnote at the end of every article. Jackson County,
they
positions
typically,
are available, it's not many positions, I understand that, you know,
they don't do that for free,
they don't do that.
they don't do anything for free. That's one of the reasons, I'll be honest with you, the legislature of KAC is going to pass legislation this year in '25 that you don't have to designate newspaper as your official notice publication. It'll save us thousands of dollars. We can put it on our website, and people will know that's where it's at. It makes no sense because a lot of towns, you have very few readers.
Right.
I mean, out of 13,500 people in this, or 250 people in this county, maybe 500 get the whole recorder. So is that really the best place designated public notice? I'd rather put it on KMZA.
More people hear it.
Did you work at Leavenworth? Still? Oh, my aunt used to work there, she retired from there. I don't know, long time, but she was there for a while, they closed Postage City,
Yeah.
and then she transferred over.
I've been in Lubbock since about 12 years.
Oh, okay, and she's probably been retired longer than that. So, no, you live, you live, honest too. That's what it usually takes me to go over by the big house.
Yeah. Where do you go to the big house?
Believe it or not, I had toured that.
That's.
And I got out in the state. And I was like, yeah, I was in Alcatraz 3 different times. They let me out.
Kate, that's good. Next question.
What's that?
I know what I was gonna ask Kate, Old County Home, out on Prairie Lake Road. It's got signs in front of the bridge now. Yeah, what? That's, I wondered if that was, I mean, I drove past all the signs. I didn't know if it was, zoned for that or what. Oh, hey, Kate, how you doing? Hey, the, Old County Home out in Prairie Lake Road. You know what I'm talking about? It was a pork farm. Okay, big old 3-story house out there. Is that zoned for a church? All right, but I saw signs in the yard the other day when I drove past, they're having church out there, so I didn't know, and I thought I better look into that and see, so. I have no idea. I'm relying on you for that, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, like I say, it was a county home, and then it went to a private residence, I think for years, and it went to private residence, to private residence, ever since, it still is a private residence, besides the church in front of it, so. I just didn't know. All right, so I'm going to rely on you, you need to just report back next week, that's fine, you don't need to make any state trip or anything, okay? All right, thanks, Kate.
See certain
Bye.
areas that the public is not student resident of college. And some of the progress will say, hey,
We will.
I don't know. Because they talk.
Like I said, I saw that out there, and I was like,
And it was
Since
a guy in
house.
worked for the CIA. He
Yeah.
hijacked a plane, flew to Cambodia and said, hey, President Nixon is between New York and Southeast Asia. And there's a Russian
I didn't even know that.
and there's no capital. And that's, he
It's like me there, why should I
and
have
his
no
colleagues
clue?
did that. Went to Highland College first, then Kansas State's right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Steve from, yeah, sure, sure, sure. But they also come out too, like the radiation or the uranium or the use uranium. That's a I never got to go to Wolf Creek, I went before the coal fire, mostly precipitators. So here, there, Jeffrey, OPPD, IATAN, which is right across from the other one, basically across from, and the Chillicothe, which is,
So this, Mark.
Yes, sir.
I'm interested, sorry, the,
I was just to give you, looking up, Kansas, I just sit here, and I want to make sure before we,
I appreciate that. The Barber County where the Pixley Solar Farm is, that guy invited anybody out that wants to come out and see what construction, what's being done. He just sent me an email that it would be fine. That's at, Barber County, out by, right now. Well, now, what's the other county out there? Just west of
Oh,
there.
where the prison's at, Ellsworth? Ellsworth?
no,
Park Lane? You know, Medicine Lodge.
Medicine Lodge.
Oh, when,
Yeah,
the
that's
Pratt. Medicine Lodge and Pratt.
So, Larry Cox. I think he's their road bridge superintendent.
Barton County is,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
and they're right in the middle of doing it right now.
Who's the general on that, as far as the doers?
In Evergy,
It is Evergy.
N-I-N, Evergy, in Evergy, all one word,
Okay.
not Evergy.
No.
Yes, yes, I did. Appreciate
two other things just to talk about. W5 and 178 road. There is, the 178 is east-west road, W5. Yeah. The gentleman owns the ground of the road going back in there, the dead ends. 178, it dies back in there, minimum maintenance, doesn't cross the bridge. What he wants to do is put a cattle crossing in on top of the ground and bring his fence up to it. So a portable cattle crossing, so he doesn't have to put gate in, and he can run cattle through the whole thing. Otherwise, he's gonna have to build a fence down both sides of this basically abandoned road, to keep the fence, to keep cattle in. I told him I would visit with you guys, pull up other maps.
What does he apply to close the road? If he owns both sides, it goes good, doesn't it?
That was one of the things I talked to him about, was
We'd have to post it.
and I don't know if he really was interested in asking for it to be closed.
Because he still wants us to maintain it.
There's really nothing to maintain.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
I'm curious why he would want it.
He didn't say he didn't want, he said, well, the easy thing to do would just be with this, when, set this portable cattle crossing up and run fence up to it like.
So 178 is the one that you're referring to.
178 and W5.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at it, just kind of, 178 shows it just kind of wanders back into this pasture and
South
dead
Park.
ends over there. Is that,
Correct.
is that where you're looking at, right here?
Yeah, let me, go up here.
I would not want the county to have the liability of it still being open and he puts something into the middle of the road. Hypothetically, if someone came up there and ran into it, the county still would be responsible because it's a county road. That's my opinion. If he has
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, if he has to close it, it's closed and the liability is taken off the county's plate.
Oh, are you looking, since you get it up yet?
No, one second. That'd be closer to Dennis.
It's just Cedar Township.
Cedar.
Cedar.
So we're W4,
And one man.
yeah, it just kind of goes back in there. He said W5.
Is this what you're looking at? Well, I got W5 here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's where it shows W5, and 178 just kind of wandered back into pasture, just
Yeah.
dead
Goes
ends.
straight for a little while. And my map shows W4.
Let's see.
Doesn't matter. It's where 178 goes straight to the east, and it gets down there, looks like maybe quarter of a mile, and then curves and goes back north.
Right there. Right.
That's what you're talking about. That's what we're talking
Let me make sure that we're on the same page here. No, that's a different one I'm looking at. Take the end off there.
I didn't even use that.
Or which maps are you using, Google Maps?
Yeah, I just, you know.
Because here's what I'm looking at right here.
He's east of 16, you're west of 16, right? 16 highway.
No, this is clear down by, well, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
west.
Okay, so here's where I'm looking at, that shows. W5 and 178.
You're in the right spot on that.
Is he referring to
Because
this?
it's,
He owns all, no, he owns all of that.
I don't see, I would,
I think we need to do some checking. I think that 178 coming down through there is,
That's brick.
I-
Oh, it's
yeah, that's
fairly
right. I'm
straight.
not-
That's,
what he's talking about, putting it in right here.
Does he?
178 goes straight through, not down an angle. Google showing it coming down there on that cattle path. And he owns the property on both sides of that,
Right there.
right there.
Yeah. Well, I'd wanna do some checking to make sure that this is not 78 up
That's
there.
weird looking at 178.
Yeah, it's kinda, I don't know. Yeah, this is showing 178 street across this map. shows it. Section 10. And that's ceased. And that just shows it as straight across, so.
I think that's what he's wanting to do. I said we, at some point, we could drive out there and look
Which
at it.
would be up right along that tree road, but if that is still a road, good lord.
It's completely overgrown.
178 is, because it doesn't show 178 up here, it goes 174 to 180, all that's something that's, hasn't been maintained for, that makes sense. Oh, wait a minute, here's 178. It's bitty little.
Yeah, because if it is, I'm like Dan, I'd be a little bit afraid of the liability. If it's still a road, you know, cattle panel up across there, cattle crossing up across there.
So maybe the
Yeah,
question is, why not, abandon the road, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't even see a road there.
Barrett's got the answer.
This just says minimum maintenance on here. Sorry. Here, this looks
I'm more inclined just to say, let's just close it, we're done with it.
Yeah, probably it is. See here. Yeah, oh, I see. That's it. That's all it is. Yeah. Itty bitty. Oh. Okay, so, oh, that's interesting. Sure. Yeah. That would be
I
it.
wonder why it's labeled as 5, because it should, half mile would be a 4, not a 5.
It only shows a 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
A U4,
Yeah.
X4,
There aren't.
See, it's not, wouldn't it? Be 5/8 of a mile instead of 4/8 of a mile.
right, but it shouldn't, these are on mile sections, so it should be, or in the half mile, so anytime it's half mile, it's
What's that?
U4,
What's that?
yeah, or a 4.
Hey, Mark, what that is on your map, it shows like, it's like,
I'll just reach out to him and tell him we'll come up and take a look at it
Yeah,
and see about, or he can come in and
see,
Petition
on
to
Mark's
have it
map, it
abandoned.
goes like here. Not
it's
straight
up
across.
through here, is what Google Maps has,
Yeah,
but
look
I
at, there
don't
it
have a
is.
problem.
Yeah, I don't either. Looks like a river.
Okay, I got a more of an answer on our
that,
gate question. This is, and here again, I'm going back to this, and when they're talking about fences, a structure that surrounds an on-site wastewater lagoon or lagoons that meets environmental health handbook specifications, okay? So you go to the environmental health handbook specifications, and under guidelines for design and constructing lagoons, section 6, fencing for human and animal safety. Basically, blah, 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 and state and county codes require all wastewater lagoons to be fenced. Fencing should preferably be located 3 feet outside the berm toe. A 4-foot wide rigid frame can allow
not sure.
easy access to mobile shop. Gating must provide the same degree of resistance to entry as fencing. They say it requires a padlock. Why? Hang a padlock in the middle of the damn fence and say, there you go, that's a padlock. I mean, I don't get that. But my point is, it does not have to be hinged. Because the 4-foot wide rigid frame gate can't.
Right. So,
So,
If you wanna reach out to,
yeah,
uh,
I will.
Mrs. Ripple and let her know.
Shall's the key word, no shall, which is mandatory
Yes.
by law, it says can, which.
So, does not have to be hinged as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
She's following, and I'm still saying though, that it all goes back to that part in there that says they will send them a letter denying it. If they don't have a letter in their file up there denying it, then it was accepted.
We should call Christie and see if Christie and Aaron will come down. And that'll be the last topic. What, if anything, are we gonna do about internal IT work moving forward? I'd like to have a conversation with Christie.
We're gonna figure that out. Well,
You may wanna take on that responsibility for a stipend.
yeah, if Christie can spare her out of the office, that's key there too.
Yeah, that's what kind of conversation. Otherwise, we have a conversation, do we need to look for anybody? Or do we
I
just,
think we probably do because it specifically says in our contract, like in Pathways, there will be a contact in Jackson County.
and that contact can be,
Can be Aaron.
it could be if they want it to be. That's why.
I don't know if, I guess I still think we need to talk to IT Pathways too, because when it was explained to us when we went to them, that there could be somebody here in, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, for the problems that, if we have problems. Well, we've had problems since we've switched over now out of Road and Bridge, since we've switched over.
But Scott was gonna reach out to him, he didn't, and I don't believe understood, he was supposed to solve IT Pathways and have them remote in.
Okay,
But we'll talk to him, ladies.
No,
Okay, IT, front and center.
I'm gonna sit over here. We have to swap out, because Mary's
Oh,
lunch.
okay.
I'll sit here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, let's walk through what you guys think, and what we think, do we need, internal IT assistance, or are we just gonna move ahead without him? And obviously, we're gonna move ahead without him, but what are your guys' thoughts moving forward?
I think we just go with like the Pathways, they're supposed to be able to do it.
Okay? So give that a try. If we run into problems and we see that we need something additional, I know you have some experience in this. Do you feel comfortable in any part of this, or would you rather not?
I don't mind helping as long as I'm not making modifications to it. Does that make sense?
Then again,
I don't mind helping as long as I'm not making modifications to
Okay.
take it.
Okay.
Which would be what I can help.
Yes.
Okay.
But I do help a lot of the other departments frequently.
Right, so as long as we're making contact with IT Pathways, and when it comes to loading outside software on, we're making sure that there's nothing goofy with it, why we can't, why we shouldn't, or if we're allowing an agency here to have access to load something on your AS400, we make sure that it's going through IT Pathways so that they can check it out first and make.
Thing is, everything goes through IT Pathways.
Okay,
So,
all right. I think that's a great idea. Let's try with,
question,
yes,
did you ever find out if they come on site to install computers?
that's one of the things that I don't know.
Because that would be one of my questions. We could hire someone to come in and install the computers.
So there's a couple things that I see internally that, I'm not saying if somebody in here wanted to handle that, they could, but one of the things is keeping track of all the docking stations and laptops and the rotation, so many year rotation.
Each department
I
has
should
to track.
That's where the department head should be handling
They
that.
should be, but they haven't. So we need to make sure that that's happening, because we had some stuff that was way outdated. And so as long as everybody who's a department head, it's their responsibility to pay attention to that list, do that, we'll be fine there.
How about I make a spreadsheet that we can share and we all go in and put in our computers, the
Yeah.
things we've gotten.
I think that's a good idea.
Everyone will have that spreadsheet they can reference.
Bring up an alert when it's, 2027 and 3 of them in the clerk's office need to be replaced, then we can take a look at that. And it helps with budgeting, huge help with budgeting. So so we know what those are gonna cost and how. As far as installing stuff, I'm not sure, we just have to do some research locally who we would use. I know there's been a suggestion, I'm not in favor of that suggestion, who is a local individual. I would, and I don't have anything against them, I was just told that there were some issues years and years ago at another department with this individual, and so therefore, we should probably be let into the system again. So if we have suggestions, I'm open to that, I think Mark and Dan.
Yeah, I've got their contract pulled up right now, I'm trying to see if what you said about getting in.
I thought my understanding was, for example, Lisa's computers, I thought they were to have to sign it.
That's what I had understood too.
And
That is what it
So-
was explained to us, that's what I understood.
I think it's just reach out to the contact person that we have, let's just reach out to them and say, look, we need a hand. Do you have somebody that will come on site, do physical work, or is that something different?
And are we gonna be charged?
And how much?
That's their local office, Kansas City, is that the closest? Kansas City and Omaha.
Kansas City, Omaha.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So, let's get that question answered, about on-site.
You wanna call them
And we'll create the spreadsheet, thank you, and share it with them.
well, I don't think
Anything
they
that
have
you're
to come
seeing
here.
that we need to take action on?
No, it would be extremely helpful to get that password, because I some stuff I need to Tara's computer. And we have to coordinate with 3 vendors to be a bit, like, it's gonna be,
I struggle with that whole password a little
I
bit,
still don't understand why we can't have a soft layer password.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree.
so let's ask that question.
because we had one before.
Yeah,
So when other departments needed stuff, we would just go help them, you know?
but
Okay, I think
you
I-
understand why,
I most definitely do.
you know, we just have to be really careful about how many people or who has this and how that's gonna work.
Well, that's why I thought that when we had discussed this originally, switching over to them, and we all, Christie was going to be the contact person in the county. That's what I thought it would be. And then all of a sudden it turned into, no, we can't do that after we signed the contract. and everything.
Let's
I
make
need to
sure.
Find out about
Let's
that,
just
yeah.
make sure.
Okay, I've got for, just so you know, for what we were talking about before, local, we're gonna be long distance. Long distance break fix service calls performed at a location at a 60-mile radius from Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Overland Park, Columbus, shall be subject to a travel charge of $300 per day per engineer. The rate on that for a stand day is anywhere from $239 to $266 per day.
And that's
Per
why,
hour.
I think when we negotiated this,
We had a, yes,
But Tim never helped set up the computers before. Networks Plus always set everything up. He never did.
yeah, we had a, and I'm trying to see where that is. 3 different
but Networks Plus charged us for that also.
agendas on this.
Yes. So did Tim.
Yeah, no, I know it did. So we could still have, you know, if we've gotta have something set up, they just come in and set it up.
Yeah,
Ideally, you
honestly-
would have multiples ready to go on the same day.
As far as setting up a computer, we are capable of putting the computer together, we just would have to have one sources.
Right, which
Yeah.
can be remoted in, if you can get it up to where it's, then they don't have to come on site, they can remote in and go through everything, get the email set up. I'd love to have them. Every time I go to print something off my email, it goes to the treasurer's office. Linda, you're not there to get my emails. But
well, and that's what I was gonna bring up, because
It- it's
right
still-
now, I'm on
it sets as a
the
default,
administration wireless.
so.
I can't get to my printer here. I should be on the, commission room wireless.
But you won't let you.
No,
So,
So
Not
that's
a
gonna
password.
be a giant thing, not an IP conference. The connection we need is
Well, I don't know when it's switched though.
It's when
How
they
it's
did an
switched.
update. I lost my computer last Wednesday, 3:00 in the afternoon, went down, because they scheduled an update on my computer at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And they have been asked not to do that again.
So, so I don't have the password to get onto the,
If you just go ahead and click on the commissioners, Christie can give you, it doesn't even give you that option?
It
It's
probably
locked.
wasn't saved internally, yeah.
I have to have a password to be able to get onto the commission.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right, but Christie has that password.
Do you have the network security key for that? Because I've never seen it.
I couldn't get on last week at all.
Okay, so moving forward then, we don't need anybody locally, just Tim, and we'll move ahead. If we get down the road, but you know what, maybe we do, we can revisit that. Everybody agree?
Yes.
So just try it.
Perfect. I love it when it's like that. Okay. And Christie's gonna get a hold of IP pathways and get some information about maybe a soft, multi-level password where we can do certain things here, but, and you just let us know no matter what you have to come up
And
with.
the vendors that are putting stuff like on our computers, they're already on other, registered entities from that appraiser's office. You know what I mean? Like, we just need them on ours too. And I know we're gonna have to have Sue Kansas to get her election stuff up and going.
Yeah, like I say, I don't understand the hesitation for, there are certain levels of security that you can have to let you into certain parts of the system, not giving you total carte blanche to
I
the
just
whole thing.
wondered, maybe they didn't understand what we were asking.
Or it just didn't get through the loop.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I had passwords down to get here that I can get into a certain portion, but I couldn't get into this portion, wanting that portion, you know? So that, to me, that's the way it should be. That's a very simple, it's a very simple fix, in my opinion. If you have an IT person who is working hard.
Seems plus made us like an admin too.
Sure. Yeah.
They locked us out on,
Yep.
you know, the security.
Yeah, all you do is go down and click, click, click. You have this password, you have access to boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's it.
The only thing we want access to is for other vendors that we've had for years that we trust beyond them.
Yeah, you might just ask them that if they can set it up that way. That might be good.
Yeah.
They may say, sure we can, we just weren't given direction to do so. So, all right, we'll come back and visit next Monday and talk about it. Roger, do you have anything we can help you with?
Yeah, I want to resign my foundation board, Kansas Mental Health. I've been on that foundation board up there for years, and, you know, I'm 85 years old, I need to get off of that thing. And so,
Okay. Did you let them know?
yeah, and I get to, you
So
know.
they'll let us know.
You'll have to appoint somebody, you know,
Right.
to fill that. Actually, that foundation board only meets 4 times a year, depending on what's going on, but, I think that the state is required to have 4 meetings a year. And, that's not the main board, it's just the foundation that tries to help the money.
So there's another one that you can put, Aaron, on our Facebook and on the website, open position to be filled by the general public. There was another one for, NECAP.
And you can later on to the end of the year, if you want to start, it don't matter, because we're not gonna have any more meetings.
Yeah, and I don't know that we'll have anybody beating down the door to want to be on there. But I do want to say thank you for serving on that board. I
Yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
Roger, really appreciate it.
I've been on that for a little while, just because you know, in the courthouse here, and I felt like I owed something for,
Sure.
doing that, so that's the reason I stayed on that board up there. But
It's,
I feel like I've served my time.
difficult to get younger folks to volunteer for a lot of these boards, water boards, you name it, school boards.
I was going to get in here earlier, and, because that'd been a good job for, you guys could be on that too. I mean, you know, Dan would have had good ones, maybe he could, and a little advertising up north too, but, and he still could, he might lose a little bit of his sting.
I pledged to get off the boards when I had to file for something here recently. They asked how many boards and committees and memberships are you on?
I didn't know, I had to go back and count, because NECAP, AAA have personnel, clients, governance, total 16
Yeah, yeah.
as of this year. I can't do it anymore.
No,
I
don't,
promised
yeah.
my wife I would.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to serve, I agree. And what you said, people put you in place here as a commissioner, I felt that I had to give back too, and I like what you said there.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I've been on DCAP board too.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah,
It's time for me to move down the road.
well, maybe we'll go fishing together then.
And I'm gonna get out of my church deals too, because my wife keeps telling me,
Yeah.
she thinks I'm getting old, I don't know.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rod.
Before we go,
Yes.
That's what I want.
Thank you, Aaron.
thank you,
Uh-huh.
thanks, Rod, really appreciate your service.
Yep.
What else? Before we go, I want to bring up, since we decided we're not gonna do anything for Christmas bonuses or anything this year.
Correct.
I think it would be a good gesture on our part, it's not gonna cost us anything to, all them take off New Year's Eve, the 31st. Just for Christmas.
I struggle with that because we already give way more days off than, we give a lot of days.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, as a non-precedent setting basis, I think that it would be a good gesture on our part to give New Year's Eve off in place of a monetary or a gift for Christmas, since we're not doing that this year.
Go ahead, Dan.
I agree. I think it's a nice gesture. Worst case scenario, take, all day long for a pack night.
I wouldn't even do that, 'cause like I said,
Okay.
we're
Yeah, I'm
not
okay.
doing anything for
Yeah.
a Christmas gift this year.
Yeah, of course, we have to follow what courts are doing in some capacity by keeping, if it interferes with, say, the courts right now have a big case on New Year's Eve, then we really can't interfere. So we have to check.
Have you looked at that to see whether, I mean, the courthouse is gonna have to be open because
Yeah.
courts are gonna be in.
Of course, then again, I don't know if they,
Is that Christie? Yeah.
And I can find out if that part.
yeah.
Okay. And then let's revisit that next Monday.
Yeah, I really do. When we had that conversation in here with all the department heads, everybody said, hey, I appreciate the pay increase, and that's good enough, and
Sure. Like I say, I just think as a goodwill gesture on our part, I think that would be it'd be a nice thing to do for the employees. So let's revisit next week.
that's the best I can give you, is I'll chew on it.
Yeah.
The road and bridge is gonna be working, sheriff's gonna be working,
Sure.
and, it would affect the senior
And what do we
citizens.
give now, 17 days? It's a
I
bunch.
honestly don't know.
Judge,
But like I say, on a non-precedent setting basis. So,
all right, I'll think about it.
that
And
sounds good.
We'll revisit on
Yeah, let's
that.
revisit on, you put that up for us.
He called back and said that the church is an A1 allowable use.
Okay. That'll work. That's all I need to know. The church out there at the old folks home. So the former county home.
There's a church out there? Oh, it's used as a church. Is that what you're saying?
It's a residence, we use a church.
I
I just
don't
wanna
know
make sure
that.
everything's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Christie? That I didn't, I got everything signed, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Each been second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Christie, if you would put on the agenda, do you guys wanna go look at that road next week?
We can, yeah.
178, or that,
178 W
W5.
five.
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Right.
Go in the morning, afternoon.
I think we go right out of the gate, and so let's send an email to Todd not to be here till 10. So we're gonna leave out of here, go out and do a road inspection, and so we won't be back probably till 10.